Well, to quote one of my favorite groups, Alan Parsons Project, where do we go from here? That's what the question is going to be asked for the Tigers now after what was definitely a weekend disaster in Kansas City. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more on this edition of Tigers Daily. Good afternoon, everybody. Good day. Welcome to Tigers Daily. And we want to take this moment. For those of you that haven't subscribed, we say welcome to the Tigers Daily family. Hit that subscribe button. We talk all things Tigers, the good, the bad, everything in between. We talk about what's going on and off the diamond, and, of course, the games from the night before, and take a look at what's ahead for Detroit. For those of you that have subscribed, I say thank you very much. The results, the viewership's been off the charts. The response has been great. We are proving, even when times are tough like this, that we are one of the most passionate fan bases in all of professional sports, not only Major League Baseball. So, again, I thank you for taking time out to be a part of the Tigers Daily family. And also, again, welcome our brand new partner, Kalshi, Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app, and when you do, use the promo code FANARCHBASEBALL. And when you trade your first $10, you get $10 back in return. That's Kalshi. The games are heading into September. Every game trades on Kalshi. Well, what a rough weekend. I don't know how else to call it. It was a disaster. The Tigers, as we mentioned the other day, they looked listless on Friday night. Didn't look much better on Saturday. And then yesterday, with the bullpen game, they put 9 runs up or 7 runs up or whatever it was. 7, but they gave up 11. So, yeah, a royal sweep, royal disaster, whatever you want to call it. It was an embarrassment, let's face it. Now, I don't know, if they've just, again, run out of gas, if they've hit the wall, if it's just such a combination of things right now for the Tigers. They're just ice cold. Dylan Dingler, 5 out of his last 58. Torkelson's batting around 100. Baez is looking like the Baez of a few years ago, where he's starting to swing. He's getting that, losing his discipline at the plate. I don't know if that loss on Wednesday to Pittsburgh really set him off the deep end. I don't know. Now, give credit to the Royals. They've won 8 straight. And the Tigers better be careful, I got to tell you, because the Royals are, and I know moral victories don't mean anything, but watch out, because the Royals, Detroit's just as close to last place now as they are to the final wild card spot. So, and I know they're not mathematically eliminated yet, the Tigers, but after a weekend like this past weekend, and with what's coming ahead, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers to Comerica, you got to wonder. I mean, what is the psyche right now of our Tigers heading into tonight's game against Tampa, the first of a 6-game homestand? And I'm just going to throw it out there right now. And again, I'm trying to put a little bit of light into the tunnel here. I'm trying to be, a little bit of humor. Maybe we've got to call up and have the players watch that video from Animal House where Blutarski says, nothing's over till we say it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? You remember that line from Animal House. If you haven't, check it out. We're not done yet, but I'll tell you what, after this past weekend, it doesn't look good. Now, I'm trying to find any kind of a ray of sunshine here for the Tigers after that disappointment. So where do we go from here? What do the Tigers do? I mean, as we mentioned, their bats are silent. It's incredible. You can play the blame game. I question some of the motives of the Tigers, with the management. We can start it again if you want with the Skubal trade, with the Mize trade. I just, whatever. But even after the trade, I question some of the things that, A.J. Hinch has done. Now, they called up Andrew Sears. We talked about it earlier in the week. As we like to do here, who should we call up next? That's a question that we ask weekly here on Tigers Daily. And I suggested Andrew Sears. Well, lo and behold, he got called up. And I thought, okay, maybe they'll put him in like in the second or third inning, because we knew it was going to be a bullpen game. They gave him 4 innings of work, and it really didn't prove anything. He gave up 6 runs. The Tigers, it just, the microcosm of the Tigers season, They had bases loaded in consecutive innings yesterday. It's either the 5th and 6th or 6th and 7th, whatever. With nobody out, they had bases loaded 2 innings in a row. They could only muster 2 runs. That just tells you how the Tigers season has been. They jumped out to the lead first, and they lost it. I mean, that's been a reoccurring trend for the Tigers. It's just they get down 5-1, they claw back to tie it up, and then Sears gives up 4 runs in the bottom of the frame again. All of a sudden, they're down 9-5. That's just the way it's gone for the Tigers. So I don't know what's next for the Tigers. You tell me. I look at who are they going to bring up. What are they going to do now? What is the direction with the Tigers right now with 32 games left to go? They're only 3.5 games out of a wild card spot, but realistically, I mean, my confidence level, as much of a Pollyanna optimist as I can be at times, my confidence level right now in the Tigers, realistically, to make the playoffs, is about at 0. They're going to have to show me. I mean, wouldn't that be the Tigers' way on this homestand? They'd go 5-1. And they'll get everybody's hopes up. I mean, wouldn't that figure? I mean, I know it probably won't happen, but it could. And I don't know. Now, getting back to A.J. Hinch, and Scott Harris, whoever made the decision, James Altman got DFA'd on Sunday, which, I'm not surprised. His glove is decent. He's got a good glove in the outfield, but, he can't even bat the Mendoza line, which, I don't know. It's crazy. Not that I'm surprised with that he got DFA'd. I was a little surprised that DeJesus got sent down to the minors. I mean, I know he's had a couple of rough outings, but he hasn't done any worse than, guys like Finnegan or whatever. So, and I wonder how long they will keep Sears up with the parent club. Now, as far as changes go, just keep in mind that you can only go to 28 players now in September. It used to be you could expand the rosters to 40 to give some of the younger guys call-ups to get their feet wet in, at the major league level. Now, the Tigers technically, even if they go 3-3 or 2-4 on this homestand, they'll still be technically in it. But I think for all intents and purposes, I think their chances have gone out the window. Would you start sprinkling in some players from Toledo or from Erie in September, giving them chances, kind of playing with the roster? Is A.J. Hinch capable of doing that? I don't know if he is. And here's my other question. Are they tuning him out? Have the players given up? We talked about it over the weekend. We needed to look at guys like Gleyber Torres or Spencer Torkelson have been there a while, take the leadership role. I mean, we can't keep counting on just Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark. The youngsters are playing good ball right now. Eduardo Valencia, right? I mean, they're the young core. It's exciting to see for the future. But I don't know. As you can tell, I mean, it's exasperating to watch. And I know as Tiger fans, a lot of you are feeling the same way. How many of you are going to stick it out to the end of the year watching the games as faithfully as you do? Now, and I wouldn't blame you if you did. So, I mean, such a depressing week last week. It's the last 9 games, 1-8. It's so funny that 10 days ago, we had the last playoff spot, and we were 3.5 games out, 2.5 games out for first place in the Central. Now we're 7 out, 3.5 games out of the wild card. And I know it was a road trip, but if you would have told me Detroit was going to go 1-5 against the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Kansas City Royals, I'd have said you're crazy. So I don't know. Is it managing? The reason I asked this, a question was asked the other day, and I forgot to bring it up, and I want to answer it right now. Normally we keep the comment section towards the end, but I want to bring this up. Springbok 314 asked, why are we not stealing bases anymore? Now, I know they had a double steal yesterday. I think that put them to 38. I think we're last in Major League Baseball in stolen bases. Small ball. Small ball is a thing of the past, especially with Detroit. And I think, It's pretty sad, though, when I think the leader in stolen bases in Major League Baseball has got more than what the Tigers have as a team. So, and I know it's an analytics thing. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for for answers right now for the Tigers. So after a weekend like that, it was pretty rough, that's for sure. Hey, a reminder, everybody, that today's broadcast is brought to you by our brand new partner here on Tigers Daily. That's Kalshi, Kalshi. Use the promo code FanArchBaseball when you download the Kalshi app. When you trade $10, you get $10 back. Now, a reminder, you're not going against the house. You're trading against your peers. You can trade to win, and you can also, if the numbers, let's say your percentage, you bought it low and it trades high, you can get out and take your winnings. It's that simple. You don't have to wait till the game's over. So, again, baseball season is in the stretch run. We're into September here shortly. Every game is tradable on Kalshi. So, again, use that promo code FanArchBaseball when you download the Kalshi app, and when you trade your first $10, you get $10 back. All right. The Tigers now a 6-game homestand. After last week, the last 9 days, last 10 days, it looks insurmountable. And I'm not – and we've got the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers coming to Detroit. All right. The rotation set for the Tigers for this week's or the first 3 games. Tonight, Framber Valdez against Rasmussen. Now, remember, the rotation got pushed forward because they wanted to give Kiter Montero a few extra days rest. His velocity down a little bit, maybe his confidence. He's, again, been one of those pitchers where he's been up and down. He has a good outing, then he has a poor outing, then he has a very good, then poor. So they gave him a few extra days rest, hence the bullpen game yesterday. So Valdez goes today. Tomorrow it's going to be Jackson Jobe against Seymour. And then Troy Melton on Wednesday in the series finale in the matinee against Peralta. Then the weekend set with the Dodgers. Montero, Anderson, and Valdez look like the 3 starters for the Tigers against the Dodgers. And it looks like Skubal is going to go. Right now, tentatively, Skubal is set to go on Friday night. We'll see if that changes. I thought it was going to be Saturday, but we'll keep you up to date on that as far as Skubal goes on Friday for the Dodgers. It looks like he will be pitching in that weekend set against the Dodgers. So right now, it's going to be Valdez against Rasmussen, Jobe against Seymour, and Troy Melton against Freddie Peralta on Wednesday against the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, now let's, as we always do at the end of the program, let's take a look at the standings in Major League Baseball. As we first take a look over the weekend, and now the standings in the American League East, the Tampa Bay Rays, their lead is still 3 over the Yankees, 6 over the Red Sox. In the Central, the White Sox, they've got a lead of 3.5 now over the Guardians. The Guardians, again, starting to make their push late August into September. They've won 4 straight. Now they're just 3.5 games back of the White Sox. The Twins are 5.5 back, and the Tigers are 7 out. In the West, it's a virtual tie between the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers, leading the West 1 game under 500. Again, that's how pathetic it is in the American League. Mariners 3 back. In the East, in the National League, the Phillies have won 9 straight. They've cut that lead down to 3 for the Braves. The Marlins are 9 out, but they're fighting for a playoff spot. In the Central, the Brewers lost, the Cubs won, so the Brewers' lead is now back at 6 games over the Cubs. And in the West, the Dodgers, they've won 6 straight. They're starting to wake up now. They've got a 9-game lead over the Padres, 11 over the Diamondbacks. And then, of course, the question, the wild card in the American League, the Rangers hold that top spot, but they're now tied with Cleveland for that last wild card spot, both a game under 500. The Blue Jays are a game and a half back. The Twins 2 back. The Orioles 2 back. The Mariners have jumped over the Tigers now. So the Tigers are 3.5 back for that final wild card spot. 4 games ahead of the Royals. That's kind of scary. And in the National League, for the last wild card spot, the Padres have it. They've got a 2-game lead over the Diamondbacks, 4 over the Marlins. So, we also normally talk about, maybe looking at what the threshold is to get to 85 wins. Well, we got 32 games left, right? So the Tigers are 61 and 69. They'd have to go something like 24 and 8. I'm going to make a bold, hot take. They're not going to go 24 and 8 in their last 32. If 81 and 81 were to get to the playoffs, which is altogether possible, I'll know the Guardians are starting to play better baseball. Let's just say 81 and 81 were to get, and I know that's wishful thinking. The Tigers would have to go 20 and 12 to get there with 32 games left. So take that for what it's worth, right? I just don't know if it's going to happen. All right, let's take a look at a couple of questions here. Some of your comments and questions. And Gary Rydell, U3W, asked, why do pitchers not go deep in games? And I had said early in some of the earlier shows earlier in the month, I was going to do some research. And because I looked at the Tigers in the minor leagues, and, their pitchers average about 5 innings at best. Well, I looked at a half a dozen teams, and I'll bring up the Brewers and the Dodgers, only because they're two of the best teams in Major League Baseball, and their farm system seem to be pretty good. Their starters don't average 5 innings either. This is a major league thing. I think that the Brewers have one person, I think, in their Double-A team that has gotten a complete game. I mean, they're not even averaging a quality start. The Dodgers, minors, the Brewers, I know the Red Sox, the same way. That's just the trend now in Major League Baseball, and I don't understand it. And I've reached out to a couple of ex-ball players, and I can't wait to hear what they say, and I would love to hear their response on it. And so when I see that, I'll definitely relay it to you. But I don't understand it, how they don't let how are these pitchers supposed to do good at the major league level when they're not averaging even 6 innings per start? I just don't get it. We're relying so much now on our bullpens, 4, if not 5 innings at the minor league level. We're relying on our bullpens at the major league level to pitch 4 innings. And it's just something that I don't know if I can ever get used to in Major League Baseball. And finally, some of the other questions, again, we talked about, we asked the announcer question the other day, and here's a great question by Bob Smith, 3217. When Benetti does a national broadcast, he doesn't make all the goofy comments he makes on Tiger broadcast. That's a great point. And again, I know, especially when things are rough, you run out of things to talk about, I get. But with that being said, that's where he kind of loses me a little bit. I know he's a very, very, very accomplished broadcaster, and he's done so well for himself. I just sometimes, with Andy Dirks, they get a little cornball for me. We brought it up. And then Rock and Roy 58, a regular contributor to the show. Hey, Rock and Roy. I actually laugh out loud when I hear people talking about Riley Green coming back. The strikeout king will not make this team better when he returns. Well, you might be right. It looks like he'll probably be back sometime this week. He's coming back to finish his rehab in Detroit starting today, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. And again, Ricky Kilinsky, 3385, a regular contributor to the show as well. He said, you got to start looking at A.J. Hinch. He said, he used to be a huge supporter of his, but now too many little things starting to point his way as far as some of the things that he does, some of the decisions he makes. So, yeah, those are just some of the comments. And again, I want to thank everybody who does take the time to comment on the show. I look at all of them, and I really appreciate the input, the feedback, and please keep it up as well. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Tigers Daily. Again, let's try to keep the pace. I know it's going to be tough. 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays and then 3 against the Dodgers at Comerica Park. If nothing else, if you're in Detroit this weekend, check out the Dodgers. They're one of the best teams. Or if you're in a midweek game, I'm sure you could get a good seat at a decent price to watch the Tampa Bay Rays. Until next time, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.